Linda Franco. Now, I I kind of bumped into Linda through the Chamber of Commerce, the Urbandale Chamber of Commerce. And when I say I bumped, we were on Zoom. It's very difficult to physically bump into somebody, but it's amazing who we have in society today that belongs to chambers and you know nothing about their business. And suddenly I find out that Linda is a health coach. Now, you know, health is something we've all got to know about. And Linda, welcome. Um, Give a little idea to the folks of what a health coach really is.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And it's nice to see you this morning. What a health coach is it's a journey partner. Is probably the best way I can describe it. A health coach is somebody that works with somebody that's interested in that's made the decision to make some lifestyle changes. Many of those lifestyle changes start off with somebody interested in, getting to a healthy weight. So, as a coach, I walk the journey through the highs and lows. We're connected into a community of support because we all know that when we are connected with people that are like-minded, we have a tendency to rise above and do better. Okay, because there's more people out there like us. We like to connect. And then also as a health coach, I coach and support and guide them through a very structured program. But the structure of the program is all about what their why is. Okay, and that structure will guide them to getting to a place that maybe they've never gotten before. And so, as a health coach, what brings me joy is watching people get where they haven't been in a long time and maybe have never been before. So, as a health coach, I really walk side by side for folks.
And I think that's important about, I mean, I always laugh about that wonderful word diet. It's not really a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And my laugh on this is that if I work out all the weight that I've lost through the years, I shouldn't really be here. You know, I should be gone, you know, but you put it back on. We are creatures of habit, and certainly our foods, as you well know, are designed for us to get addicted to certain foods. And I think that's one of the problems. I've got to ask the question: liquid. What is important about the amount of liquid people drink?
That is a very good question. And actually, what it boils down to is hydrating your body with water. Okay. There's so many benefits around it. But one of the major benefits is flushing the toxins out of your body. Okay. Not only that, because everybody has those toxins in their body, but not only that, but also lubricating your organs. Your organs love having some hydration to help them function better. Having that hydration on a consistent basis, on an everyday basis, you sleep better, your skin is better, you feel better. And there are so many benefits, but the biggest benefit I would tell you is flushing those toxins out of the body and lubricating the organs. And many people don't realize that, and there's a lot of people that are not water drinkers, and it's about working on a strategy to drink more water than you drank yesterday and ultimately getting your body hydrated on a regular basis is really important. If that's one thing people take away from me today is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
I just knew that question was going to be good because once upon a time I used to drink nothing. I'd say nothing, cup of tea, cup of coffee, orange juice now and again. And I've improved my liquid intake like crazy. I personally like sparkling water. Personally, I just don't like water, or a flavored water is okay. But you've done something in your life, and literally the other part of what you did to lose your weight, um, if I may be so bold to say that, was walking, exercise. That's very important, isn't it?
It is important. You know, there's a lot of components that are very good for you overall. I've always been one that's been very active, even at my heaviest weight. I was active. And walking just, it's one of those things that it gives me, it's a mind thing. It's fresh air, it's outside, and it just feels good. So, you know, in terms of exercise, you know, that's another component of the program, but it's not about doing something you don't enjoy. It's not about going out and hiring a personal trainer, joining a gym. A lot of people don't like those things. It's about doing something you enjoy. And I personally love being outside, and anytime that I can walk, boy, I'll tell you, that is a bonus. And especially when the sun is shining.
Oh, yeah. Sunshine's it. I haven't been walking enough this year, I can assure you. When we lived downtown, I used to use the Skywalk like crazy, and used to walk a lot. The other factor, let's talk about food, if I may, and let's talk about the elements there. Um, we're terrible about the type of foods we eat, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And the food industry does not, they're not our friend. Okay. They really are not our friend. But, you know, it goes back to early times. We're designed to be hunters and gatherers, right? And so it's really about learning how to fuel your body on a regular basis. And I will tell you from my experience, and I have lost 120 pounds, and that was back in 2010. So, and more importantly than moving the number on the scale, it was learning how to eat on a regular basis and what to eat. So it's not a diet, but it's learning how to fuel your body. So you're eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, as well as hydrating. And those are things I was not doing. And those are things that I didn't know anything about prior to walking this journey. And so it's about nutrient dense, fueling your body on a regular basis, keeping your blood sugars, you know, on a level ground so there's no spikes, but also feeling satisfied and also not feeling like that you're giving anything up.
Oh, talk about giving. I mean, look. It was kind of interesting. My daughter, who lives in Orlando, we were on the phone several weeks ago, and she said, "Dad, do you like avocados?" I went, "Yes." I said, "I have my avocados with raspberry vinaigrette." And she says, "You and I are the same." She said, I have an avocado every day." And it was like, I never knew that. And this is a young lady now in her 30s. I had no idea. We talked about food. You see, you mentioned about the amount of times we need to eat. We need to graze, just like animals, they graze. If you notice, excuse me, if you notice, for instance, any type of animal, whether it be a bird, a rabbit, a squirrel, they're always grazing. And we need to take a leaf out of their book, and that way. But then again, what are the bad foods for us? What is it, like, for instance, my favorite food? You're going to hate me for this. I love bread. What am I doing wrong?
You know what? There's a lot of people out there that love bread. And that's really good. That's interesting because I just had a client call last night, and he shared with me that he grew up in, his grandfather owned a bakery. So as a little child, he said, I slept on top of the flour, on top of the sugar. He said that was my life. So he said, bread is my deal. You know, it's bread. Bread is bread, and a lot of people will talk about carbohydrates. Okay, going on a no carb diet. You know, our bodies need healthy carbs. Okay, our bodies really need healthy carbs. So, you know, the knowledge that you gain about how to intake those breads in your life without packing on the weight is really the goal and the guide for me. Okay. So it's not like, it's just giving you the guidance on the knowledge of the selections of the breads that you have that you can take versus sitting down and, I know some people can sit down and eat a whole loaf of bread, right? Or a smaller loaf of bread. But it's just managing that intake on a weekly basis versus, not thinking about it and having that on a daily basis. But our bodies do need healthy carbs, and healthy carbs come in every fashion, in every food category.
Well, I tell you, when you talk about bread, I love my toast. I tell you, one thing I love is a good either a piece of French bread and olive oil and herbs. Notice I call them herbs, not herbs, because we never called him Herber Hoover. It's just that there is so much great stuff out there, but you do it in moderation. It's like when we look at our food from the meats that we eat, and we notice today there are more people eating their chicken, their pork, and cutting back on their beef. But then again, a good piece of beef, now and again is fantastic. And it's got great flavors, but it's also what you put with it and the portion size. If we notice in this country, the United States, our plate sizes are far too large, far too large. You go to Europe and you get a much smaller plate. You go to a French restaurant and you'll have 7 courses and they're all small plates. So is portion control one of the aspects of being into healthy living?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's very good. Portion control is really important. Okay, because we live our lives. Many people live their lives, and some people don't eat breakfast, and it gets to be lunch, and because they don't eat breakfast, then the floodgates open up. Or some people will eat breakfast, don't eat all day. They come home and then they justify in their head because they haven't eaten all day, they can eat whatever they want and whatever amount. But again, it goes back to the quantity and the quality of the food that you're eating. So yes, the portion size is really important, and that's another support and guidance and knowledge transfer that I do in terms of the portion size, because that's very important. And it's also very important to understand to have your body be satisfied versus not having your body satisfied, because if your body's not satisfied, that's when you start creeping into areas you shouldn't creep into and making choices that are not maybe in the best interest of choices of where you want to be.
Well, the good thing is that we've talked about all the different aspects of our daily lives, of food, liquid, etc., and exercise. So as a coach, you believe in the one-on-one, and I know that Dr. Wayne Anderson is the physician that you work with. I think it's, if you would, give us a little idea, because remember, all of us are different. So there's different levels of how you can help people and what their goal is, because it's no good you saying, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to make sure you do. It's got to be, the person's got to be willing to begin with and to understand what can happen. So give me a little idea of a one-on-one coaching idea that you do with an individual.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. You're exactly right. Everybody is different. Everybody is different. Every personality is different. And actually, coaching has been the absolute best thing for me. I worked in corporate America for 30 years, and so I had a tendency to be very black and white. Okay, what coaching has taught me is people are in different places in their life. They have different experiences, and so for me, it's about meeting people where they're at. Okay, and so a typical coaching call can be with somebody that says, you know what, I had a really good week. I stayed very focused. I feel like I made really good choices. And here's what the scale told me this week, and that's great, you know. And then we'll talk about, okay, going into next week, you know, what do you want to accomplish? Is there something you want to focus on that maybe you can make some adjustments for? You know, so we'll always talk about what do you want to take, what do you want to get done? What do you want to get done next week? What do you want to feel good about? And we always talk about, let's talk about one really good win and victory from last week. And that win and victory can be, you know what, I went out to dinner with friends. I looked up the restaurant before we went to see what my choices could be. And I stayed on plan and I didn't have a glass of wine, which is really big for me. So I always talk about win and victories because it's those small win and victories that will win the race. So, and then another coaching call that I'll have with somebody, maybe somebody that didn't have such a good week. Oh, I didn't, the scale didn't move in my favor this week. Okay, do you want to talk about that? Yeah, let's talk about it because I really don't want to have this conversation with you next week. So one of the things that I always say to people, hey, I'm not judge and jury. I pass no judgment. You know, life is life, you know, and we're all faced with challenges. So it's how we manage through those challenges. And one of the things that we practice in this program is stop, challenge, choose, right? We stop, we challenge ourselves in here, and then the choice we make the choice that is going to, is that choice going to get you closer to where your desires are, or is that choice going to set you back? And it's not about beating you up because you made a poor choice this week, but what can we take away from this? Because guess what? That situation is going to happen again, right? So and I can't do it for you. I want it more for you, but let's challenge that situation so that when that situation comes up again, that'll be a win and a victory.
Oh, you are so right. And finally, I want to go to one part that I think is very important. We had the conversation the other day, and that is that weight plays a major role on everything our body does. And for instance, yourself, you talked about you had MS and how that losing the weight and changing your, quote, I'll say, lifestyle, you are now in a totally position with your MS than you were several years ago. Just give us an instance of what's gone on there.
Okay, yeah, I will. So when I started my journey in 2010, I was doing daily injections of powerful medication. And the medication was, there's no way to cure the disease, but it's to slow the disease up as much as possible. And so, and I was diagnosed with MS 20 years ago. Fast forward, in 2013, I started experiencing injection site deterioration of the tissue, and that tissue is not going to grow back. So my neurologist, we did the brain and the spine MRIs, looked at it, compared it to my last one, and said, okay, we can do this. We can stop the injections. I'm not liking that, you know, you're losing tissue where we're having site reactions. And we can, 6 months, redo the brain and spine MRI. If there's no new activity, then we're done. We'll back off of the injections. And it's up to you to report anything in the next 6 months of any new activity, any new feelings, whatever. So in 2013, in July, I took that risk. I hated the needles every day. I still today, to this day, don't like the needles. I did 9.5 years of injections. And as of July of 2013, it was my last injection, and I have not had to inject myself or take any medication for my MS since then. I can't claim that the program made that happen, but I can claim what I learned adopting healthy habits and the habits that I have today allows me to manage the beast instead of the beast managing me.
Oh, I love that. I tell you, the subject matters that we've just gone through, I really, really appreciate. And I notice, and by the way, we'll put up your Facebook page and your web page. I notice you have a coffee morning on Saturdays. You get people to come in. I know it's 30 minutes, and it's conversation, because it's always important that we converse and share, because you never know what you're going to hear and what you're going to learn. And I think folks can learn a lot from you, and certainly coaching one-on-one, very, very important. I think you've given us a great insight, and that I know from now on through your Facebook page and your web, you're going to have some little snippets of information that we'll pull from here. But Linda, thank you so much indeed. I've enjoyed not only reading about you, but having our telephone conversation prior. And I think it's marvelous that we need to get this message out, specifically in these times. We've got time on our hands, and we can do something about it.
Right, right. And you know what? It's about empowering people in their own lives. That's really what it's about. So thank you.
Yeah, Linda, thank you so much indeed. I appreciate, and I'll be getting back with you, but we'll get all this information out in a packet idea for you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You take care. Bye-bye, lady. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.